Okay, guys, it's 10:10 here in the UK, and I'm taking that as a beautiful synchronicity that my granddad here in spirit is with us, because whenever it was 10:10, he would say it's cowboy time, and it's just mind-blowing that we stepped on to record, and it's 10:10, it's cowboy time, and I feel like he's here channeling through me on today's session. Now, today I'm going to be discussing how to see our vision when the people in our lives don't support us. And I'm actually going to be breaking this into 2 episodes because I feel depending on the person, what I have to share and communicate changes. Now, today I'm going to be speaking about our intimate partners. So your relationships and what you should expect from your relationships when it comes down to growing, evolving, and healing yourself. Now, our intimate relationships have the power to either make us better or make us worse. And I truly believe that a lot of people are in negative cycles within their relationship because they bring out the worst with each other. They get so comfortable in the pattern of the everyday that they stop challenging each other to be their best self. And to me, a healthy relationship is about challenging each other to be their best self, because when you challenge someone to be their best self, you bring them into the upgraded version of their potential. And why wouldn't we want our partners to be in the upgraded version of their potential? Now, I meet with a lot of women who have maybe been stay-at-home parents and they now desire to step into growing a business and they're struggling to gain respect from their partner, or women who have stepped into their geniusness but their partner's like, I don't understand it, I want nothing to do with it. And it creates disrupt and it creates uncomfortable energy, because how can we move forward into our fullest vision when the energy that we spend the most time around is not fully backed in the same energy as us? And this can be make and break for a lot of people, because when you're healing and you're evolving and you're stepping into your higher self and your partner's dragging their feet, not healing, not changing, not willing to benefit the relationship, there is a miscommunication of energy. Now, looking at this, the first thing is knowing that it's not our job to convince somebody else to change. And I feel a lot of people downplay and deplete their own energy trying to tell their partner that they need more from them, that they need them to change, they need them to be better, they need them to step up. Because it's not your job to tell them, and you're only delaying your own future by trying to get them to change rather than focusing on what you want to change about yourself. And the only thing in your control is what you want to change about you. So if you're sat here and you're looking at your relationship and your partner is frustrating you and you're feeling disconnected and you're angry that they're not stepping into their highest version of self, actually sit there and say, how do I bring this journey back to myself? What does it look like for me to focus on changing me versus expecting them to change themselves? Because telling somebody to change is only going to get their back up and create this defensiveness. What is going to create a new energy is you becoming the energy that you desire. Because it's often that when you step into your healing chapter and you start to better yourself and reframe your mind and better your finances, when somebody sees your commitment to who you are in this new season, they relearn how to be with you. Whereas if they've been so comfortable in the pattern of, okay, let's just go to work and come home and we don't have to prioritize a business and we don't have to stretch ourselves and it's comfortable not having money. When they see you stepping into that energy, at first they're going to be like, oh, well, that's not me. Like, I'm just going to see whether this is a phase. But your commitment to yourself is what allows them to say, this is genuine. And if you want other people to step up, you have to focus on being committed to yourself so that other people can see your energy. And this doesn't matter whether it's clients, whether it's family, whether it's friends, whether it's partners. When you are committed and taking yourself seriously, other people will get on board with that. So if you're in this dynamic where you feel your partner isn't taking you seriously and isn't supporting you, just sit there and ask yourself the question of, are you taking yourself seriously? Are you sat there and showing up for yourself? Are you showing up for your own business? Or do you want your partner to support you, but you're not actually plugging in and doing the work you need to do for yourself? Because taking yourself seriously has the ability for other people to change their mind on you. Now, I was reckless in the old version of Rosie Mallinson, right? I took drugs, I drank way too much alcohol, I was reckless, I was the party girl. I would pack off and just go traveling when things got too much. I was in toxic relationships. I wasn't a very nice person. And when I stepped into my business and my healing journey, I feel my family looked at me for 1 minute and they were like, but that's not the Rosie we know. And I had to get very serious and very intentional with who am I in this season and how am I going to choose me in this season so that they can re-get to know me. Because until I was committed to myself and committed to who I was becoming, they were still being greeted with Rosie Mallinson. Now, Rosie Mallinson had always had very, very good careers, despite spending that money on drugs, despite partying too hard, despite being very disruptive. She'd always had good careers. So they were struggling to see what had changed because I'd always had these big goals. They needed to see the change in me. They needed to see that I was really healing, that I was really changing myself and becoming more conscious of who I was. Because once they saw that change, they could start to accept that and start to go on that journey with me. But the first part of seeing the vision is so dependable on you because it's not somebody else's responsibility to see the vision of what you want for your life. It's your responsibility to see the vision of what you want for your life. And the more you can see the vision of who you are and who you're becoming, and the more you can commit to the process and the embodiment of being that person, the more other people have to re-get to know you because they realize if I don't step up, she is going to evolve past me. Now, if you're being meted right now of feeling like other people aren't seeing your evolution, maybe it's that you keep downplaying your own evolution by checking to see whether they've caught up with you rather than just moving. When I stepped into my energy of healing, it was, I'm going here and I don't care whether you come with me or not, I'm going. And people had to get comfortable with what it would look like to lose me because I was going to keep evolving and I was going to keep growing and I was going to keep changing and I was going to keep shifting. But then getting comfortable with what it would be like to lose me is what allowed them to say, do you know what? Let me understand who this version of Rosie is. Let me understand who she's becoming in this version of herself right now. Now, your intimate relationships require open communication on the healing journey and on the business evolution journey, because if there isn't clear communication and you don't have the maturity level of clear communication, you're going to find yourself sucked into negative patterns. Now, entrepreneurship is hard, right? And there's been so many times where I've wanted to quit or I've, taken my frustration out on Lewis because I haven't regulated my own emotions or whatever it may be. And I've had to learn and evolve what it looks like to always have that healthy communication. So something that Lewis and I will do is we'll sit down and we'll write things on a piece of paper, things that we want the other person to take care of. We want them to step up with. And it might be little things to do with housework or children or time that we need for ourselves. But by writing it on a piece of paper, we then exchange. And the aim of the game is that we don't have a conversation about what's on the piece of paper. And the reason being is it's so easy to get defensive, especially in relationships of, but I'm trying and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And if you need to fight what's on the piece of paper, you're not ready to really digest and step up for your partner. Now, if you are desiring more support from your partner, sometimes this constant cycle of communication is part of the problem because people are getting defensive. They're asking for more. It's not working out. Then we're getting into an argument. Then we're getting into a debate. What needs to happen instead is, I need this. I'm now expecting that you take care of that. And I'm giving you time to digest this and process this, but I'm expecting you to step up and take care of that. Now, you have to give that to your partner and let them decide how they're going to show you that. But your commitment is knowing, if you don't step up here, then I don't know how I can ask again because I'm just going to evolve and give myself what it is that I need. So the intimate relationship dynamic, it requires you to have that openness without defensiveness and actually be willing to participate in a way that says, hey, I have an expectation and this expectation is this. But remember, somebody can only meet your expectation when you know your boundary of what you expect. So if you feel like your partner doesn't know your boundary of your work schedule, doesn't know your boundary of what you expect in life, in motherhood, then it's probably because you've not communicated it in a way that states, hey, this is my expectation and I'm going to keep evolving now. I'm not going to keep tolerating this. So this is what I expect from you. Now, if you tolerate bad behavior time and time again, if you tolerate lack of support time and time and time again, people are going to get comfortable with that. But also, maybe there's too much conversation about that. Instead, what if we just hand off, hey, I need more support from you. I need more time on my business. I need this. I need that. You vocalize it very clearly and very decisively, but then you just let your partner digest it in whatever way they need and take a step back and come back to your own journey. You have to be willing to see who you want to be in this season, knowing that there's gonna have to be people that you aspire. And that might be your partner, it might not be your partner. But your commitment to yourself is, whatever's not in my greatest good right now, I'm going to allow it to expire because I see myself and I see my vision. And there's an energy around being deadly serious that this is the new version of yourself. And people soon realize, well, if I don't step up now, like, she's evolving without me. She's going on this journey without me. So if you're feeling like your partner isn't supporting you, I think the thing that comes to the surface here is, one, you aren't allowing yourself to step fully into your journey, so they're struggling to see you and take you seriously. Two, you're asking for what you need in a way that's creating conflict rather than just kind of honoring the silence and allowing the change. Three, are you allowing them to be a part of your vision? Because when it becomes a co-created vision, the mission becomes so much more energetically bonded. And this is the thing that I love about Lewis is whenever I go into this solo stage of it's me, it's my business, he kind of brings me back to this joint vision because that's what enhances the relationship. And it's not to take credit for my work or my business or any of those things. It enhances the relationship and how we work. When he has one foot in the business, I feel seen at a deeper level. When he supports me with the vision and the business mission, it creates the bigger level that we get to create together. Now, if it feels like you and him or him and her or her and they're separate identities, you have to give yourself permission to stand there and say, where are we scared to actually bring this into joint identities? Because we can be unique individuals that don't have to share everything. But what if we get to enjoy the presence of a business or the presence of healing, the presence of the next vision together? Now, if you have a vision for your life and your future and your business life and future, have you comfortably shared that with your partner? Do you feel you can vocalize that in a way where your partner says, yes, let's create that? Because if not, you need to sit and get excited by the potential together and maybe create a role or some kind of connection that allows you to see it as a joint force so that you can build in this way where you're both stimulated and excited by the potential of who you get to be and how you get to lead. Now, in the next part of this, I'm going to be discussing the family dynamic, and this needs its own conversation because there's a lot that we're going to break down there about seeing your own vision. But the message ultimately is, you are not your relationships, you are you. And if you are you, you can be whoever you want in this season. And you can give yourself whatever it is that you need. But in giving yourself everything that you need, you have to be comfortable with rocking the boat because your expectation of other people is changing. So you have to focus on your evolution so that they can get the hint of what you expect and what you tolerate inside of this season. If you want more emotional maturity, more understanding of what you need from your partner, be really clear on what you need from yourself, because there's been seasons in motherhood where I've felt, flustered with all the things going on in my space, and I've had to be able to go to Lewis and say, hey, I need a little bit more time in my office, and vocalize that in a way where he gets it and he understands it. So are you actually asking your partner for what it is that you need, or are you beating around the bush? Because beating around the bush is not going to fix things. You want to ask and you will receive. Ask and you will receive. Be direct with the communication and expect the answer back the way that you need it to be met.